Hello friends, my name is RagePanda1, and as some of you will know, I am a big proponent of having a plan when you're playing through a game like this, because plans are going to help you to create your own luck instead of counting on the random number generators to bless you with the things that you need. So our current plan has been to take our Lionstone companion and crank her up to mythic. However, something has gone down and we need to potentially reconsider. So I wanted to make a video about what to do when a wrench has been thrown into your plans. Have a look at this wrench. Oh my god, I think I got a mythic. I might have gotten two. Give me my target and get out of my way. Oh yeah, boy.
Swords will shatter, shields
No way.
but we will win this day.
Alright. Okay. I guess this was the reason to not sleep. I don't get to complain about summons anymore, that's for sure. What? That is amazing. The only thing that's difficult about this is that I'm having a hard time ascending hunter class people, so that's a little difficult, but you know what? I think I'll just go ahead and take on the challenge for such a lucky summon. I thank you. If you're happy for me for that summon or even a little bit jealous, why don't you let me know by hitting that like button. As you can see, what happened there was that we lost some of the incentive for taking this person to mythic. And the reason that we lost some incentive is because 50% of the people that we're getting, we don't need anymore. On top of that, we don't really need the clan traits from the Lionstones to be able to marry them off. So I'm not as inclined to continue leveling this character up because it takes like 6,000 more intimacy after I hit legendary to get her to mythic. Is female Lionstone worth that? Of course she is, but do I need her as bad now? I don't think I do, and so I think it's time for us to shift. What we're going to do is we're still going to get our female so that we can put her all the way up to legendary. That's pretty close. In my book, it's close enough. And if that summon wasn't exciting enough for you, it also happened to be the start of the companion packs. And boy, do we have some cash to spend on this. So we're going to go ahead and tell the game to not even notify us that we're spending money. And we are just going to drop it like it's hot. We're just going to click until we can't click no more. We're going to get rid of every diamond we've ever seen in this game. And that probably will give us enough intimacy materials that we could make our Lionstone mythic if we wanted to. But I don't think we want to. We did it. We drained all of our bank account. And we take a look at our companion. We've got 1,000 of each material. 1,000 of them. That means if we wanted to take a 1-star companion all the way to mythic, we could do it. But I don't think we want to do that either. So what I'm looking for is a little extra bang for my buck. As part of this pivot, we have gone ahead and we have grabbed our Elzadeth companion, and I will show you that process. And the reason that we grabbed this companion is actually a handful of reasons. Number one, we need to be able to ascend our new male Elzadeth that we just got at mythic. That guy is highly underrated, and he does a lot of things very well, which we will go over in a little bit. I need hunters to ascend with in the first place, so that I can get my Trevains up and running, and continue to level them up as I progress through the campaign. And on top of that, I happen to believe that Fearsome, which is the clan trait for the Elzadeth, is a fantastic trait. That's right, I think it's a fantastic trait. I'm getting nearly a 2-second stun, nearly. Not quite. And it's a 10% chance when I'm attacking. Now, it's not super clear to me how this interacts with skills, such as his automatic skill, which replaces my normal attack by 5 rapid shots for the next 5 seconds, meaning that I believe it hits 25 times. If that's true, does it give me 25 instances of a 10% chance to stun? Or does it only apply to basic attacks? Or does it only apply to the person that I happen to have targeted and it's one chance per normal attack that's replaced? I'm not sure. The data isn't clear and they don't really give us great tools for testing that. However, if it's the case that even on moves like his ultimate skill, where it does a giant AoE and it can hit up to the whole team, it doesn't give me a 10% chance on each one of those people. Either way, even if it only applies on basic attacks, it is still an incredible ability, and it's very strong, which means that I want to be able to transfer it to people freely when I am getting towards the max level where I'm getting more creative with what I'm doing instead of just going with the flow with what I'm doing. So I'm perfectly happy to have invested in the Elizabeth Companion for all of those reasons. And you can see we've already ascended this guy up to 7 stars. We need him to be a little bit higher than that still, but I'm trying to hold off on using all of my materials for ascending things because I want to be prepared if anything exciting should happen in the future. So the very next thing that we're going to do is that we are going to get our Lionstone Companion up to Legendary. We're so close right now that even though we plan on switching who we're leveling, it's still worth us getting that extra couple of points to get her up one more rarity level. You can see we need less than 600 points. And as you might know, getting to the exact number doesn't count. They require you to go 1 extra. So that's a great thing, and we will be using Ascension to increase the rarity of the Lionstone female that we already have put stars into. When you're going to stop doing a plan that you have put into place, you need to be very sure that you are steering yourself into a direction where you're gaining more value than if you were to have stayed on course. In this instance, I am getting exactly 1 extra rarity level on the female Lionstone, which a lot of people say that she's mandatory for a team. I don't personally believe that. I think she's interchangeable with just about any frontliner you want to use as long as you're building your team with a little bit of intelligence behind your choices. She's obviously very good, but she's almost just as good as a legendary character as compared to a mythic, so I see very small value in those 6,000 intimacy points when it only takes us 7,500, for instance, if I wanted to get my Aeson leveled up. And in fact, the Aeson is the one that I am looking at right now, but I'm going to take a little bit of a break to just do some thinking and make sure that that's what I want to do before I actually commit the points to it. In fact, let's do a little exercise of process of elimination. We'll go through and weigh some pros and cons for each of them. So for Sally Horn, the pros are that it doesn't take that much intimacy to get to Mythic. However, I don't need any more frontliners. I already have both Sally Horns at Legendary anyway, so there's really not much value there. Their clan trait is not something I'm going to be trading on to anybody in the near future, so that's not really something I care to do. For the Elzadith, I do want to transfer their clan trait, but that's not the single most important thing to me. And I already have one of the 2 at Mythic, and I have the other one Legendary. I don't think that's going to be a very good pick for my team. The Ignis Companion gives me a pretty decent clan trait, and it gives me 2 characters that I could use at Mythic that work really well together. And basically the only 2 downsides here are that I happen to have quite a few champions already that are Mythic, for DPS purposes. This one is possible, but the fact that it's a 3-star and takes more intimacy and that I don't need DPS, super terribly bad, bit of a downside. When we look at the Aeson, this is only 2-star, so middle of the road there for the cost, and I really need a support. The only thing that I've gotten is a legendary male Lume, who I like to use quite a bit, but it's just not possible for me to ascend him because I can't summon enough on those banners to make it worth my time, especially now that I'm getting later into the levels. So this guarantees me, some would say, the best support in the game. I would say a very solid support. And it also gives me options for the female Aeson, which some people don't like at all, but when I get to her guide video, I think I'll be able to convince you that she definitely has her uses. Zace, if I was going to do a 3-star mage, I would do Ignis and not Zace, so we don't need to worry about that. For Karg, I probably would use both Lionstones before I would put a Karg on the team right now, although I do think that the Kargs are better than people think, but of course I need to do a little more testing there. The Yvnayan is a pretty solid selection for me because it gives me options for assassinating backliners and also for controlling energy on the enemy team. Both of those things are something that I could really use. Being 2-star, she's also cheaper to level up. And we have our clan trait, which is increased energy gain rate. Now, this is a trait that I would really love to see apply to your team instead of just to the person, even if it was a reduced amount. It probably would need to be a reduced amount to be balanced, but as it stands, I don't love it. There isn't anything that immediately jumps out to me that says that I would want this on that character. I would if the Lionstones didn't both already come with a similar trait to begin with. I don't think they need both of them, therefore the clan trait is not really a huge gain for me here. On the topic of clan traits, while the Aeson one is not one that I would use a lot, there are specific teams where this would be incredible, and they are teams where I would likely not be using an Aeson. I would want to have a male Lume with this trait on, as well as a female Karguk, a female Ugrel, just a massive lifesteal team where I want everybody's healing to be huge. Being able to put this trait on would be a massive thing. So I think that what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab the male Aeson. We need a mage on our team. We need more AoE damage on our team. So we're going to start working on that. It is also worth noting that I think that the male Yevnayan is an incredible character and he would help my team quite a bit. But I do also think that the male Aeson fits on more teams without really having to worry about it, so I'm going to consider this the safer bet. There is potential merit from me getting one of these other burst mages, for instance, or maybe the Tidestorm, and actually the Tidestorm will probably be the one that I get next, and after I get that one, I will probably level them next to Mythic, because I think that the male Tidestorm is very good. I think the female Tidestorm is very good, and they enable your team to be able to do things that they otherwise would not be able to do as well. So I think that's a solid pickup, but for now we're going for a support because we just don't have that on our team right now. We spent somewhere around 12,000 diamonds to get as much intimacy as we did, and judging from those rates, if we call that a good enough sample size, then it would appear to me that the 80% off deals from the Goblin are about on par with the intimacy that you get from these packs, but I would say that the intimacy packs themselves have a chance to be more, so if you're going to pick one or the other, I would go intimacy packs. But I wouldn't feel too terribly bad about spending 80% on the intimacy items from the Goblin. However, I would never pass up the 90% off deals from the Goblin. So I think it's important that we look at what is different because we did this little pivot in our plan. If we had not done this pivot in our plan, our Lionstone companion would in fact be up to Mythic right now. And so we would have one more character to Mythic, which would be the female Lionstone, which is probably one of the safest bets to get to Mythic since she's good on essentially every team. What we got instead was we got access to the male and female Aesons. We got access to both of those at Legendary, and also only 1,400 away from being Mythic, which is something that we could accomplish in 1 or 2 dungeon descents, or if we bought a couple more packs with diamonds that we'll be getting over the next couple days. On top of that, we decided to get our Elzadith companion, which we normally would have gone for the Tidestorm. So how is that different? Well, if we would have gotten the Tidestorm compared to the Elzadith, we would still have a Hunter that is still a 3-star. However, because we did this pivot, we are able to ascend our character that is already Mythic. My original plan was to get our female Lionstone to Mythic, and then go to the Aeson to get the Aeson Mythic, and then go to the Tidestorm to get the Tidestorm Mythic. Now, after the Aeson, I'm likely still going to go for the Tidestorm because aggressive is so good and I want to have that trait available to trade off. However, because we did this pivot, we have a Mythic Hunter that we can ascend right now, and it's a character that we already were going to plan on getting to Mythic at some point anyway, so we needed this companion on our team. As far as I'm concerned, everything that we've pivoted to has led us in a better direction to give us a stronger account. Even though it's not the exact plan that we had before, we still ended up with a Mythic Lionstone. We still ended up with a legendary female Lionstone. We lost very little to gain quite a bit. We may as well look at the leaderboard and see where we're at for intimacy. We are number 9. This is our first top 10 on the leaderboard on our free-to-play account. I think that's an awesome thing. I would like to thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope that it gave you a little bit of insight into my decision-making process. But for now, I have been Rage Panda 1, and I'll see you in the next one.